What is up, YouTube? Johnny B here again today, and in this episode of working on my 2018 BRZ TS, we are going to be making it a roller again. You can see I started there. Yeah, we're gonna be putting everything together. There's a lot of stuff that I need to install in this car. Obviously, the car's been taken apart for a very long time, so I have parts everywhere, and I've been hoarding parts for a while to get this build done, getting like really good deals on certain parts because I'm not rushing anything. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get this car rolling again. It's gonna have some really cool parts getting installed. First off, we're gonna be installing an FDF angle kit because my body kit requires it. I'm running an HGK kit. It is significantly wider than a Rocket Bunny that was on here before, and the wheels just don't turn with how wide the car is and how wide you need the tires to kind of stick out. So angle kit will pretty much eliminate all those issues and make the car a lot cooler. So let's get that done. So here is this box I got in, and it has all of the FDF stuff. I even ordered some arms for the rear. Here we have the front arms, and that's what I'm gonna be installing right now. Let's get this arm installed and get this front end kind of working how it should, and get this thing to be a roller again. All right, guys, so I got the FDF kit installed. It took a little while just to kind of figure out what I was supposed to do. There's no instructions for the kit, and there's not really any videos out there helping you exactly how to mount it. Luckily, the kit comes mostly pre-assembled, so you can't really put it on wrong unless you put it on backwards. But let me show you guys everything I did. So here we are, FDF kit. We got the knuckle on. Brakes have to be facing towards the front because in the rear is where the tie rod goes, so we can hook up to the steering rack. What I ended up doing is I'm gonna be running really wide wheels, but I wanted the actual pivot point to be further out. So these are supposed to be 50 millimeters wider than stock out the box. So this control arm, I left it at complete 0. You can extend it a lot more, and I'm guessing that's how you get, you know, if you need to be wider or you have more wide body, just kind of bring that out. And then this one I extended mostly because it didn't reach. But apparently this is how you adjust your caster. So you lower this, and then you can move this forward or backwards depending on where you need it to be. So I just kind of set it to where there was a 1/2 inch of thread still in here on both sides. And that way that left this to be kind of like the straightest possible. You know, it's not fully straight, but as straight as possible without, you know, having full thread out. Up top, I had to cut a little bit of the strut tower, just like a little circle. That way we can bring the coilover all the way out. You can see there, that's where the coilover normally sits. And now it's all the way out as close as possible to this edge, which gives me probably the least amount of camber up front. But if I want to add camber later on, I figured you can actually open this and you can add camber with the bottom, or you can add camber with the top. So I just left it like this to kind of start here with the wheel and the kit, and then see how that goes from there. So this is not gonna be the final, but it's just kind of like where I would like it. Obviously you need a little bit of camber, but I'm not planning on drifting the car all the time, so I could always adjust that later. And then back here, I left these spacers dead center. If I go lower, you would want to put the spacer up top, and then that way this is more to the bottom, so that way it doesn't kind of like bump steer you. I guess that would be like a bump steer corrector. Another thing that I had to do was I had to trim out the subframe. So the subframe got like a little piece cut out. It's just straight up cut from this section here up, straight cut from here, and then they just join, and that gives you enough clearance for this to go in and out. Because they add this adapter so that way your inner tie rod could be more centered and more lined up with the control arm. And then another thing I had to do was notch it. So you can see there, I kind of took an angle grinder with a cutting wheel, just kind of cut into it here, cut it in here. I marked it first, obviously. And then this is now perfectly level. Same thing on the other side. Same notch, put it on perfectly level. So mirrored this side. You do have to take off the boots, and there's no way of putting on the boots anymore. So I'll probably just grease this up to make sure it doesn't catch stuff, or maybe leave it like that. I don't know, haven't really decided. The car's not gonna be driven through dirt. Plus this is a manual rack, so it's not like if you bust the seals, you're gonna start leaking all over the place. But the way this is set up, when you do full lock, this part, this like square part, actually hits here. So it fully goes into the piston fully goes in. So I'm guessing that's what's gonna give us, you know, the camber we want. We do have some stoppers, not camber, the angle we want. We have some stoppers here that you can adjust. That'll hit the arm. That way we can stop this from hitting here. So I'm gonna have to check that out and see how that goes. I installed these coilovers. There's some Fortunato 500s that I actually picked up for 500 bucks. So I'm gonna be running those for a little bit until I decide what else I wanna run. But I think that'll be a good setup. They were really good coilovers, so I'll run those. Like I said, this is gonna be like a bit of a budget build to where I'm not trying to spend almost $2,000 on coilovers. I could probably get these rebuilt and upgraded. I would really like to have some with external reservoirs, just because that would look cool and obviously work and perform a lot better. But yeah, that's the front suspension done. I still have to add the pieces that go here, but I want to get the GR86 one so I can add the little pressure plates. There's like little plates that go here that kind of add to the reinforcement. And then the BRZ TS has this plate here that cars normally don't have. It'll have like a little shock, that little STI shock. I guess dampens it a little bit more, but yeah, everything's looking good. In the back, Tony's helping me, and we got the fuel tank in. Everything's looking perfect, nice and shiny, all new. Got all the dust off of it. I mean, it only has 3,000 miles, so everything should be fairly new. Everything's looking nice back here. So now I gotta put the subframe on and get this thing to be a roller. But before that, we're gonna have to put some brakes, which will be nice because I get to put my big brake kit on. So now that we got the front end done, time to get the rear end done. As you can see, I have it here all in one piece. Just cleaning it up because it got a little dusty. I do have Voodoo arms. I had all of them, but I did sell the trailing arms. That's why I have some stock ones on there right now. And I sold the sway bar. That's why there's no sway bar on it. So little things here and there that have been changed over the time of it just sitting, where I've just sold parts to people. But I bought some new trailing arms that are gonna match. They're FDF, and also the toe arms are FDF. But one of the things I wanted to do, and I've been wanting to do, is I've had this for years. This is like I guess it's 6-speed, but they made it exactly the same as the Cusco one, I think it is. Bought it a long time ago. It was like 80 bucks or something like that. So I was like, why not? I'll order it. We'll see, because the Cusco one is like $800. And it's just a piece of metal, you know what I mean? If it's machined out as well, just like the Cusco one is. You can see like the machining, how it like cuts out the spots where it's milled. It's basically a billet diff cover. So essentially, metal is metal, so this will cover up nicely, and it'll give me a little bit of extra capacity, and it has cooling fins. I did have an instance where I was driving really fast on track. I guess we always drive fast on track, right? But I was going on track, and I had a couple sessions, and I actually blew out a diff seal just from how hot the temperature got. So if I do plan on tracking the car, not often, but I do plan on it. So since I'm already here, since the subframe's out, the diff is super accessible, I might as well just swap this out. I've had this for years. I've probably had this for like 5-6 years, just sitting and I think it's time. So it'll be better for cooling. It'll add more capacity, and it'll look cool underneath the subframe, because with my car you can actually see all this underneath. I'm not a fan of the green voodoo arms because I did sell my original all aluminum ones, so I might end up color changing those eventually. But for now, I want to get this car to be a roller. Yeah. So, and then for those arms, I'm going to swap them when when the whole subframe is on the car. So let's get this installed on that. All right, here it is. Got the diff cover off. Super simple. Since it was there, I just unbolted it. Diff fell down softly. Unbolted this, gave it a good whack with this hammer, and boom, pop right off. So now I just gotta clean the surface and put the new diff cover on. Oh, it has this little like cover here that you can transfer over to the other one, so that's sick. So let's clean this up. And ooh, this looks like I might need a fluid change. This diff has only got 3,000 miles, but it's already a little dirty on the magnetic, so I'll probably end up changing it here shortly in the future. But this is looking amazing, and with 3,000 miles, everything's going to be super clean. Got the LSD in there. So rambling on, let's get this diff cover installed. All right, got the cover all ready. Swapped over the little plate and 10 millimeter from the other one. There's like a little breather under there. I guess in case it splashes, it'll just breathe and it won't leak out fluid. Looking good. Got Honda Bond on the back of this, and now we can go ahead and bolt it back onto the diff. So one last thing I want to do before I put the subframe on is put in some solid subframe bushings. They are going to be replacing these soft rubber ones. I'm going to leave the ones for the diff because those tend to cause a ton of noise, and I don't really want that, but I do want the diff to be in position and not moving. So that's what I want to do, because everything else is going to be solid, so that way when we accelerate or corner hard, there won't be any flex in the rear suspension. Is pretty much what I want. And that's one of the reasons I went with these arms, because they have spherical bushings inside there, and can make, you know, handling a lot better, since it won't be changing our alignment on us, or in this case, it won't be rotating the rear subframe. But I do like the quiet noise of having the factory rubber stuff on the diff, and I don't really care too much for raising the diff. I'm not a stance guy, so I like to keep the car at a nice right height where the car is drivable on track and on the street. So let's get these replaced. All right, getting these bushings burned out. Added a little bit of gasoline to the top side of the bushing and lit it on fire. Just wait for those to fall out, and then we can cut them out. Bushings are all out, burned them out, and then now it's time to put the new ones in. So that's how it looks without the bushings. And these just kind of get hammered in with this plastic hammer, so that way they don't get damaged. Got one in. Now I got to do all four. All right, so I got the subframe mounted. We put these nice little like washers get bolted on, and then over here it just gets bolted on with this piece, this bracket here. They provided some rubber washers that I just went ahead and put at the top. Don't really know how they go, but I figured that would stop some vibration noise from traveling to the chassis, so I put it there. So subframe is fully bolted up. I went ahead and lifted it with this to make sure that the subframe went up before I tightened everything, because you don't want to tighten one side and then start pulling all the way from the other side and just have everything bind up. I went ahead and removed the factory arms that I had on here because I had sold them. These are the FDF arms. I figured I'd try these. I've always had the Voodoo ones, but I'll try the FDF ones. I have the Voodoo toe arms, which obviously I'm going to be replacing as well. I got the FDF ones because they look really nice. You know, they match the front tie rods. So I figured, why not get those, swap those over. I'm going to be keeping the Voodoo ones. I just like the design of how they are billet aluminum, and then they're also an inch lower than factory. And the ones that FDF had Did not provide the inch lower, which is nice to have a little bit more travel in your coilover. So figured I'd keep these. I'll probably end up recoating these a different color, but for now, I'm not too worried about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the toe arms. And then also I have these bolts that go here that actually replace the factory one that can be adjustable, because now your adjustment will be from the arms and not from the bolt like they is from factory. So these will replace it. That way, in case of a nice big bump, your alignment won't go out of whack. This will make sure it keeps it all how it's supposed to be. I'm excited. Everything's looking good. Went ahead and lined up the e-brake lines. You can see there, bolted in and went straight into the inside. So yeah, I'm gonna finish putting the arms and then I'll show you guys when that's done. So to make the car a roller, we brought the wheels with the new tires. We're having them mounted over there. Brought them in the tow rig. That's what it's for, right? So while the wheels get put together, put the new tires on them, I was gonna do the brakes, but I wanted the wheels to get the fresh rubber on them, so that way when we're done with the brakes, we can go ahead and put the wheels on and roll the car around. We're obviously not gonna be able to bleed the brakes, but I just want the brakes to be on so everything like looks good and you can see them through the wheels, and you know, makes the car look really good, at least even if it's just a roller at the moment. Here are the brakes. Have them in this storage box. The rear, pretty big, huh? That's my hand, pretty big hand, and covers them. I believe they're 14 inches is what they are. 300 and, are they 330? I think they're like 330 or 360. They're on the bigger end, which is why you can't fit my old wheels, the 17s. And you need 18s to be able to fit these. So yeah, let's get these on. Got the wheels done. All right, so I brought the car outside so you guys can check it out. Throw on the wide body kit as well, just to see how it looks. It's really hard to grasp how cool it looks in video, but hopefully it'll be close enough. I know the fender flares look different color, and it's because that's literally how they come when you order them. They have like a white gel coat, so they're not actually painted yet. They just look like they are. But wow, that kind of gives you a look into the fitment. Here's how the fronts look. Here's how the fronts look. Look at that. You can see the fitment there. The rear fills in pretty nicely. Got a little bit of poke, same thing in the rear. The rear probably needs a little bit more poke, unfortunately. I can adjust that with the arms and depending on what camber I run. When I lower it, it might camber a little bit more in as well. But the fronts, this is as much camber as I can get without adding camber through that bottom control arm. But I'm happy with that, because at full lock at the ankle, then the tires are perfectly they look like they zero out, which is what you want when you're sliding around. That way you have full grip at full lock. Had to adjust the arms a ton, but I needed to see it with the wheels, make it a roller, and also get this body kit on so you can see how it looks like. So that's gonna be it for this video. I don't want to put it all in one video, and I want to get it out to you guys. So here's how the car's looking. Test fitting the body kit. It's still not painted, that's why it looks slightly different. I don't know if I said that before, but car's looking amazing. Look at that. The wheels, everything is just looking great. I'm excited to finally get this project done. It's been sitting here. I bought this car back in 2019. So this BRZ TS was 1 year old, or not even. I think it wasn't even 1 year old, because it only had 3,000 miles. So this car was brand new back when I bought it. It probably spent like 3 months during the insurance was trying insurance was trying to figure it all out and trying to sell it at the auction. So the car was pretty much brand new when I bought it, and it's gonna be brand new when I put it back together because everything has 3,000 miles apart from the K24, and the trans has 1,000 miles because I got it off of a GR86. But everything else is gonna be really low mileage. All the interior suspension stuff is all a lot newer. But yeah, this car's gonna be, it's coming along. It's gonna be really cool. I'm excited. So I'll see you guys in the next video where we start trying to put everything together and hopefully get the wiring and interior in, and get the K in, so we can start seeing it all mocked up. I'm probably not gonna put the whole car together body wise. I'm just gonna start getting it, maybe get it running and drive it like this around, see how it feels before I start putting everything together. I think that'll be exciting. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, you guys have a great day.